I think that when you're in the midst of a crisis and you put somebody who steered an entire municipality onto the rocks in charge of it, it doesn't instill much confidence. I think what we're seeing is the same old faces around the same table making the same bad decisions. I don't
You're
think you
talking
see
here
any
about
major
Dr.
new talent
Kgosientsho.
coming in.
You are talking about Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, right?
Yes, correct. I think that you put somebody like that who's, with his track record, in charge of a major crisis, and it shows to me very clearly you've run out of road and run out of ideas, and you've run out of people. We really should have had somebody in that position who is experienced in dealing with crises, and particularly energy crises, not people who are responsible for wrecking metros and with a track record like that.
Well, interesting, because I mean, earlier in the day, I was listening to some business leaders when names were being thrown around. And of course, the name of Dr. Ramokgopa has been very much on people's lips and ball pens. And they seem to, hold him in high regard as an efficient, capable South African who has done quite well around the presidential infrastructure program.
Well, I'm very surprised to hear that, because the infrastructure program itself is a non-starter. And given the crisis that we're in, it's unlikely that this individual is going to be able to have the heft to be able to get us out of it. And time is going to tell. The president's now promised us that load shedding is going to come to an end, and this individual is now going to bring load shedding to an end. And we look forward to measuring the progress in that regard. I certainly don't hold out much faith and hope, given the individual's track record when he was in government. And I think that we're in for tough times ahead. I think we could have really done with a energy expert in this portfolio to be able to get to grips with the crisis. We've now had an even larger cabinet with even more ministers laid on top of it, with another broken promise to reduce the size of cabinet. We had the same promise made in 2019 that there was going to be a review of the cabinet size. And here we are with an even larger cabinet. Bear in mind that each cabinet post costs the citizens of South Africa 37 million rand per year. We now had over 70 million rand added to our bill every single year here in South Africa. So you've layered on more ministers, which isn't going to resolve the problems that.
A couple of quick ones. Paul Mashatile as the deputy president.
Well, I think that was completely the most expected out of all of them. I think that this was in line with the ANC's resolution, and certainly the track record of the ANC, where their deputy president of their organization ascends to the deputy presidency of the country, and obviously we wish him well.
Among those who are out, Ms. Nkwana Mashawane and Natim Tetwa.
Yeah, well, again, I think that the president had not much choice. I mean, I think the flag and some of the other scandals that have erupted and the destruction of the arts in South Africa under Mr. Mtetwa's watch has led to that. The odd one is putting Patricia de Lille in charge of tourism, quite strange, and somewhat of a major demotion from a major portfolio to one that was basically seen as the exit portfolio, if one takes Lindiwe Sisulu's fate into account.
Very, very quick one, Mr. Stender, isn't the revelation by SARS that the dollars that were stuffed in the president's couches were no longer, those monies were not declared to SARS. What are you going to do about that? 10 seconds, we've run out of time.
Well, we've obviously, we're going to send it on to Parliament and take various other action steps, but it just shows that the president's tissue of lies that he's developed around the Phala matter are now being exposed day by day, and the truth is starting to emerge. The president was in possession of dollars that were in the country unlawfully and illegally.